Hello everyone, this is Void Spirit. I'm here to bring you guys amazing fanfiction that you will surely enjoy. But before we start, please subscribe and like the video for more amazing content.
CH50. Before the confrontation. The girl. The black-haired girl this person dreams about all night long. Always doing something different, but always the same girl. The girl is a hero. Today she is sleeping. Sleeping serenely with nothing bothering her. The dreamer dreams of the sleeping girl. Her beautiful face had a serene expression. It was as if she did not care about anything. The mistress of the dream watches the girl, but no one notices her. The girl sleeps heroically. Plan. A bell rings. Intruder. A shout echoes in her dreams. The black-haired girl wakes up upon hearing the shout and stands up abruptly. She picks up her sword from under the bed and rushes out with a determined expression on her face. She is not running away from danger, she is heading towards it. The girl runs heroically. Dreams are confusing and the dreamer doesn't realize where she is. The girl runs and sees soldiers. All fallen motionless. Dead, the girl mutters as she sees them. The girl searches heroically for the intruder. Why does this keep repeating itself? The dream's owner says as she realizes the strangeness. Why did the girl seem heroic in everything she did? She cannot help but wonder. The girl runs around the cathedral she is in and looks for the intruder. Running and running. 1 hour she finds him. Thick colorful clothes and a clown mask. The intruder looks at her with a smile. "If you move I will kill you," she said and raised her sword towards the intruder. A thin sword, but one that contained great power. The girl faced the clown heroically. "You can't kill me," the clown says smugly. "What?" she replies confused. "Don't you know? It's me, Laplace. You didn't kill me last time and you won't now." The girl could not utter a response to him. The owner of the dream watched this in confusion. She was standing behind the girl, but no one seemed to notice her. "I don't understand you," the girl speaks after a while. The clown smiles. "You don't have to understand. Just understand that you can't change the past. Wake up to life. After all, this is just a memory. Isn't it, Sakura?" the clown says and turns to Sakura behind the girl. "Wake up to life," the clown says in a horrifying tone. He repeats the same word several times. "Wake up. Wake 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 up. Ah. Sakura wakes up and takes a deep breath. She has an expression of astonishment and looks confused. She looks around startled and realizes she is inside a car. "Sakura, are you okay?" She hears a voice coming from above. She looks in the direction of the voice and sees someone. Beautiful face, silver blue hair and golden eyes. It was her beloved. Sakura had fallen asleep on Rimuru's lap while he was driving. Yes, I am," she answers sleepily, but Rimuru could tell in her voice that she sounded frightened about something. He could tell this just by the change in her voice. Obviously this was because she was his beloved. "It's okay, we're almost there," Rimuru said with a smile. He lightly stroked her hair and Sakura hugged his waist. She seemed happy about something. That something was the fact that Rimuru had paid so much attention to her and noticed even the slightest change. Rimuru went back to driving normally. Sakura couldn't stop thinking about the dream she had. Filled circle, filled circle, filled circle. "Kufufufu, they are coming," a black-haired demon said with an evil smile. It was Diablo. Here were Diablo, Shuna and Benimaru. Besides them here were also Masayuki, who was the new emperor of the Nazca Empire, Dwarf King Gazel, Empress Elmezia of the Sorcerer Dynasty of Thalian and Prince Raymond of Ingratia, representing the Western nations. By the way, this prince was not the one who tried to kill Rimuru at the first council meeting. It was his younger brother. All these representatives were here in the far east of the continent. Prilo, a small town to the east of the empire. This was where the visitors from the other continent would arrive. That was predicted according to the route they took. Yes, They are. Those ships look pretty advanced indeed. Benimaru said as he looked out to sea. There were 4 metal ships there that seemed to function by magical means. This was likely as Diablo could scan far away and detected magic running through the ship, but his scan from afar was not so specific. I hope we won't have any problems. Sigh, Gazel looked exhausted. In fact, he was mentally worn out, as these past few days had been exhausting. This was because Gazel was on his day off when he was found out about the ships, and having an emergency notice took him out of that. On top of that, he had a lot of paperwork these past few days. Warning an entire continent about something in 5 days was really exhausting. Several countries and rulers needed to be warned, and many of them talked to Gazel about the visitors. Don't worry, no matter what happens, we will try to dialogue. Shuna said with a serene smile on her face. Shuna was great at calming people down, which is why she was chosen as one of Tempest's representatives. He, but if they want to, we won't hesitate to battle. Diablo said and gave another of his usual laughs. Benimaru nodded and no one seemed to disagree. Exactly as Sir Diablo says, if we are attacked we will have no qualms about retaliating. Prince Raymond of Ingratia said confidently. Even Raymond was not intimidated by the sight of the technologically advanced ships. This was because today technology had advanced quite a bit, and on the continent there were airplanes, trains and other advanced technology. I think it would be good if we could settle this peacefully. Masayuki said, scratching the back of his neck. He still didn't know how to behave like an emperor, but that wasn't important. Masayuki these days was finally able to control his King of Heroes skill, which evolved from the unique skill chosen. But the damage was already done and everyone always treated him like a hero. Even the Prince of Ingratia who was here was not the exception. I'm back. There is no one in the vicinity. Grinned San. A blue-haired woman landed and Masayuki smiled upon seeing her. It was Velgrind. She had come along with Masayuki and was checking the area so far. She did this to make sure that no idiots would interfere with the first contact with the natives from the other continent. They didn't want to give a bad first impression. Velgrind stood beside Masayuki and everyone waited for the ships to dock. After a few minutes one of the ships arrived close to the beach. Some of the crew got off the ship and looked around with cautious eyes. By the way, normally these world leaders would walk with an entourage of guards, but since everyone hated this they used as an excuse that Benamora and Diablo had the same strength as demon lords and Velgrind was a true dragon. So if the visitors attacked, there was no way they would be protected anymore. Which was true. All these crew members were wearing gray military clothing and all of them were human males. They had a symbol on their clothes that seemed to represent their nation. This symbol was on their chest and represented 2 crossed spears. No matter how you looked at it, these men were soldiers. The men in gray walked down the beach and after a while they noticed Benimaru and the others watching them. One of the soldiers gave a warning shout and everyone looked in his direction. Another soldier ran into the ship and after a few minutes a man in a black military uniform came out of the ship. This man looked to be around 50 years old, had gray hair, blue eyes and carried a sheathed katana. This man was probably the captain of this platoon, as he was the only one in different clothes and the others treated him with respect. Let's go talk to them. Benimaru said and everyone agreed. Now was the time. They walked to the beach slowly. The captain and his soldiers also walked to the beach to talk to them. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot dot dot. Greetings, visitors from the other continent. We are the leaders sent to welcome you. We hope to be able to have a dialogue with you. I am Empress Elmesia of the Sorceress Dynasty of Sarian and these are. Elmesia introduced the other members. The man in black cast her a look that seemed to analyze her as she spoke. Within that same look one could see curiosity. Meanwhile the soldiers in gray were looking at Elmesia, Benimaru, Shuna and Diablo with negative expressions. Is there a problem? Do you guys understand us? Elmesia interrupted the introductions as she was confused. She thought that the language translation magic might be failing. However, that was not the case. One of the angry soldiers took 2 steps forward. How dare you speak to Captain Geist without asking permission? Show respect and bow down, you inferior race. The soldier in gray insulted Elmezia and the other soldiers also seemed hostile towards her. Yet the so-called captain rolled his eyes for some reason. Oh, that was not good. Gazel realized that things were not going in a good way and Elmezia had a serious look on her face. This look scared the soldier a little. Even though Elmezia was not as strong as an awakened demon lord, her strength was much greater than a non-awakened one and this man was being extremely rude. Kufufu, it looks like the dialogue will be difficult. It wasn't just Diablo who thought this way. All the representatives in this place, minus Masayuki, knew how to decipher people through their words, and they saw that these people were troublesome. Benimaru, Shuna and Diablo started talking in low voices about what to do, and that seemed to irritate this same soldier. You there. Who do you think you are? Kneel down before us. Don't you non-humans know how to show respect? He sneered at them and looked at King Gazel. You should tame them better. He spoke as if he were advising him. Incidentally, none of the men seemed surprised that another continent existed, so it's likely that they already knew of its existence and just hadn't made contact yet. Kufufufu, what a funny fellow. Fu, Diablo-kun is right, he really does say unbelievable things. Yes, he should think before he speaks. Diablo, Benimaru and Shuna smiled and chatted. Your eyes aren't smiling. That was the only thing Prince Raymond could think of. Raymond was actually quite afraid of Rimuru's subordinates. Especially Diablo. Diablo's reputation was well known to the world, not only his personality, but also the fact that he was the Black Primordial, Noir. So every time Diablo smiled Raymond felt a chill down his spine. Incidentally, the fact that Diablo was coming held off several country representatives who wanted to come. Which was a good thing, because it would be bad to have too many people during the negotiations. The soldiers seemed angry that Benimaru, Shuna and Diablo were treating them lightly. They were casting hateful glances, and the one in front of them pulled something from his waistband. It was a pistol. The man aimed the gun at Benimaru and issued a threat. Are you sure you won't bow down? No, I won't. I think you'd better put that down if you don't want to start a hostile relationship. Benimaru was a direct servant of Rimuru and one of the 12 patrons. His strength was almost as much or even greater than an awakened demon lord and there are few people he would bow down to. The soldier kept his sights on Benimaru. I think it is you who should bow down. Elmezia didn't even care about the weapon and continued in her calm tone. You are facing many important people here, so I think you should be more prudent. That was true. Everyone there had highly elevated positions and a mere soldier not bowing to them was unthinkable. They were thinking of forgiving this as there was no way the soldiers from another continent would have known this in their first encounter, but now the soldiers were being disrespectful. However, instead of bowing, the other soldiers also drew and aimed their weapons. Some soldiers who were still on the ships also pointed long-barreled weapons in their direction. We are the soldiers of the great and sacred Losuki country. We will bow to no one but the messengers. We will take this land as our own. All the soldiers gave war cries and the soldier in front continued speaking. You non-humans will become slaves and the others will inform their leaders to surrender to our country. Quote. Kufufufufufufufufu. Everyone was silent and only Diablo's laughter was audible. Are these guys serious? This question crossed everyone's mind. The soldiers hadn't even talked to them and were already talking about taking over their land and making them slaves. They had obviously not come in peace. They didn't even seem to have heard their names and titles, as they said that the humans should warn their leaders about surrendering. In this case themselves. This country did not look friendly at all. Not only that, but their soldiers or even the country itself seemed to be quite arrogant, as they didn't even measure the strength of the enemy and were already threatening them with weapons. Looks like we're not going to have friendly relations. Gazel said and drew his sword. Stay behind me, Velgrund warned Masayuki and Raymond who were the only weak ones there. You guys must be idiots. Captain, may I give the order to Bluef? The soldier was about to give the order to fire, but was stopped by his captain. Captain Geist until now was quiet and just watching the situation, but when the soldier was about to attack he pulled out his katana and slit the soldier's throat. This surprised everyone, including the soldiers who were on the ships still. Captain Geist. Why did you? Another soldier perished by Geist's katana before he could speak. The other soldiers were dumbfounded and Geist began to attack all of them. Captain, stop. No. One more dead. Stay back. Another. The captain has betrayed us. Ah. Shoot him. Geist was too fast for the soldiers to keep up and they couldn't even draw their weapons. We have to help them. Prince Raymond said in a rush, but was stopped by Diablo who put his arm in the way. In fact, Raymond was the only one who wanted to help, since the soldiers were about to try to kill them. So no one moved a finger to interfere. Shoot the captain. After Captain Geist killed all the soldiers on the beach, the soldiers who were still on the ships recovered from their surprise and aimed their guns. Geist, realizing this, took out a device from his pocket and pressed a small button on this device. It was then. KABOOOOM. All 5 ships exploded at the same time and all soldiers inside died. Geist showed a satisfied look and sighed. He turned to Benimaru and the others. I am sorry for the inconvenience. My real name is Roy Banklary and I am a member of the Resistance. I hope we can have a dialogue. Everyone looked at Geist, Roy, as if analyzing him. That was understandable given what he just did. We can certainly dialogue. Diablo was the first to respond. Well, you killed the people I was going to kill, so you saved me the trouble. After Benimaru gave his agreement, the others didn't deny it, even if they were all wary. Filled circle, filled circle, filled circle. We're here. Rimuru stopped the car on a hill from where you could see the capital of the Haihiri Kingdom. Everyone got down from the car, grabbed their weapons, and looked at the situation in the city. War. The city was at war. Several demons and magical beasts were attacking the barriers that protected the city. How many? If you count demons and magic beasts, it's just over 100,000. Seal responded to Shia's murmur and calculated the strength of his opponents. In addition, I detected space magic circles that lead to a location where 900,000 more can be found. She added after finishing her analysis. Liliana was dumbfounded by her words, but the rest of the group did not consider it such a threat. Obviously that was because they had people who could handle it easily. Rimuru and Chloe. Rimuru, can you do it? You asked, because even knowing Rimuru's strength, it was still kind of unrealistic to destroy an army of 1,000,000. Yes, don't worry. In fact, I'll stop time so it's easier to. Space-time blocking. Before Rimuru could finish speaking, he heard a voice coming from above. At the exact moment this voice was heard, everyone felt a great pressure falling on the scene. Liliana stepped down. Everyone looked up to the sky and there they saw a man with blue hair and eyes, wearing casual clothes of the same color. You are. Akame began to remember the description he received from EHT. The description that matched exactly with this man who was floating in front of him. The same man who held great power and would heal his hands. The leader of the gods, Velda. Oh, it seems the traitor recognizes me. Velda was surprised to see Akame here. He had received information that she had died. Ah, so this is your new appearance. Why are you here? Rimuru asked in a casual tone, but he was on the lookout for any movement from Velda. Rimuru realized that the first few words Velda said exactly what she was saying. A space-time block. Rimuru tried to stop time before, but couldn't. He also tried to use one of his Void God Azatoth space barriers, but it didn't work. Seal-san. Yes. Rimuru didn't even have to speak, and Seal went back inside him. Rimuru didn't know how strong Velda was now, but he thought it best to be cautious. Why are you here? I came here because this is a battle that you will not participate in. He said with a smile. So you will stop me? Why? That is my business. And yes, I will stop you. I see. Rimuru thinks Velda was different. Before he was arrogant and serious, but his personality now seemed more psychopathic than before. PCHIN. Rimuru did not hesitate and attacked with his katana. Velda pulled out an all-black western sword and defended. This sword was releasing an unknown red energy. Velda smiled at Rimuru and walked away. Rimuru knew that a confrontation with Velda would cause a lot of damage to the surroundings, so he decided to do something about it. He asked Seal and got a suggestion. Union Prison. Rimuru isolated him and Zelda by making a large cube around them. This cube had walls that glowed white and was formed by the union of all the elements. Normally Rimuru would use his space barriers, but Velda had blocked this with an unknown method. This cube around them would not trap Velda, but would provide protection to the surroundings. Rimuru and Velda crossed swords once again. Filled circle, filled circle, filled circle. Kaori-san, how is she? She's fine, she just fainted. Shia looked worried and Kaori was analyzing Liliana. It seemed that she had fainted from fright. That was normal since Velda's pressure was frightening. It was actually impressive that Kaori had stayed upright since she was the weakest after Liliana. I wonder what's going on in there. Hajime wondered looking at the glowing cube hundreds of feet tall. That guy was scary. Shia shuddered as she remembered. Don't worry, Rimuru-san will be fine. That's right. Hajime was impressed by how confident Chloe and Sakura were. He had felt the pressure coming off Velda, so he wasn't as confident. Well, Rimuru is a real monster too, so there's nothing to worry about. Yu commented nonchalantly. She had been scared too, but Rimuru seemed pretty confident to her. Yes, I don't think it's possible for anyone to defeat him. Rimuru was training Akame for her to use her ability, so they had fought a few times already. So she had already experienced the tyranny of his power. Hey, you guys could talk about these things in a better way, you know. Everyone heard a familiar voice and looked in her direction. And there was Rimuru. Quote. Shouldn't you be there? That question flashed through everyone's mind. Oi, Rimuru, you. Should I not be there? Yes, I am there. Actually this me here is just a clone and doesn't have much power. So I've come to talk to you guys a little bit. Let's be quick because I don't have much time. Rimuru had no connection to the outside while he was fighting Velda and would not be able to make a clone. Cecile gave the idea to make a small hole in the cube to have some connection with the outside. This hole was smaller than the hole in a needle and Velda would never notice, but it was big enough to pass a silk thread through which Rimuru was using on controlling this clone. However, this thread would not last long, as the battle was generating damage on all sides and the thread would soon be cut. Rimuru wanted to speak as quickly as possible. Okay, first that. Rimuru pointed to the Mountain of God that was in the capital. It was only when Rimuru pointed there that they noticed a glow coming out of the top of the mountain. This glow was slowly getting stronger. Apparently an army sent by the gods or something is going to come out of there. I don't know what they're going to try, but I want you to stop it. The others were surprised by the information, but didn't say anything, since Rimuru didn't have much time. However, that army is going to be pretty strong and at the moment the only ones who can stand up to it are Chloe and Akame-san. They made melancholy expressions when Rimuru said that. In other words, it was an enemy they couldn't face. So, Hajime-kun, I wanted to do something. Something. Yes, I have a method of making you stronger, but it won't be pleasant at all. Rimuru looked hesitant, but Hajime just said, let's go. Rimuru was a bit surprised, but it was a fact that Hajime had already suffered from monster flesh and suffering pain to gain power was already the norm for him. Okay then, let's go. Rimuru pointed his hand at Hajime and did what he wanted. Hajime began to feel a strong headache and put his hands on his head. He fell to his knees and let out a groan of pain. The girls had pained expressions when they saw this, but they didn't interfere. What Rimuru was doing was pushing Hajime's mind to the limit in various methods. This was suggested by Seal, as it was the only method to make Hajime awaken sooner. That awakening in this case would be to a saint. Seal had detected that this would be possible for Hajime. A saint was one of the 3 realms of power that a human could attain. The first realm was the wisdom that Rimuru got Hajime through easily, as it was not as powerful. This realm could rival an unawakened demon lord. Any human could reach this realm if they trained hard. The second realm, saint, took at least a decade to reach, but if the user went through an experience where his mind was pushed to the limit, like a tragedy or disaster, the awakening would occur sooner. The saints had a strength, somewhat inferior to the awakened demon lords. This realm could only be reached by those who had the hero's egg. The third was true hero, and had no specific way to be reached. The only thing known is that a hero awakens when his hero's egg hatches. A hero has almost twice the strength of an awakened demon lord. However, it was quite difficult for true heroes to exist. Chloe was an awakened hero, but she was much more powerful than one. That's because she had two hero eggs after a series of events. An awakened demon lord is a very vague term. For example, Guy is one, but he has much greater power. The strength of an awakened demon lord is the same as Ruminez or Diablo. Warning. Unique skill, blacksmithing, acquired. The voice of the world echoed in Hajime's mind. Hajime already had supreme skills received in the dungeons, but since they were received skills and not developed, they didn't have their full power. Having the same power as a single skill. But now he had developed a skill. This skill was basically the same as the one he received in the Orcus dungeon, but it was still at the unique level, so if it evolved to supreme, it would be stronger. Incidentally, Hajime and the girls knew about the skills, as Rimuru explained them. It didn't stop there. Warning. Single skill, acceleration, acquired. Warning. Single skill, heat, acquired. These two skills were very good and even complemented each other. Acceleration allowed Hajime to manipulate the speed not only of his own body and abilities, but also of other things he touched. Heat, exactly as it said, allowed Hajime to manipulate temperature, and that would help him power his shots. Not only that, but with acceleration, he could generate more heat. Rimuru realized that Hajime had acquired more power and gained new abilities. I think it's over. Hajime awakened as a saint. Hajime stopped suffering headaches and stood up. Now Hajime was a spirit life form, and would not be killed so easily. A spirit life form had great control over its body, and even if it was wounded in the heart, it would not die. Spirit life forms needed to be killed by special attacks or they would not be injured. Hajime would take time to master all the powers of this body, but his strength increased greatly. In addition, he had more stamina and high control over his body. After he had completely mastered his body, he could even regenerate lost limbs, with enough magic. Hajime felt something being thrown at him. It was a 99% healing potion. What? Hajime felt his arm and metallic eye being pushed away by something. That something was his arm and eye that had fully recovered. That. Hajime was dumbfounded. Now that you have this strength, the artificial arm would no longer serve, so I healed you. That was true. Hajime's artificial arm gave him more strength, but now that he had multiplied his power several times, the arm was weaker than his own flesh. Thanks, I guess. Hajime said, still analyzing his new strength. You guys go ahead then. You guys have a town to save and I have an idiot to beat up. Hearing Rimuru, everyone headed for the town as quickly as possible. Rimuru's clone had not yet been destroyed. Master, I have an idea. You may speak, Seal-san. Seal then told Rimuru an idea that could help in the battle and he was impressed. Oh, can it be done? Yes. But won't I get in the way of something? Probably not. If you say so. Rimuru put his hand on the ground and a giant red-colored magic circle appeared at his feet. Get out. The magic circle glowed brightly. CH-51. Traitor. Hajime, Chloe, Sakura Yu, Shia, Tio, and Akame came out from around the battle of Rimuru. They were going to save the city from the demon army and the god army, so before they got to the city they stopped to form a plan. All right, wait for me here. Hajime used aerodynamics and climbed high in the sky to get a better view of the battle. After a while he came back down and gave a general description of things. After they listened to him. We will have to divide the forces, half face the army of the gods and the other half face the army of demons. Tio judged that would be the best choice. But from the way Rimuru-san talked, this army of the gods seems to be a great danger. Chloe seemed concerned about dividing the forces equally. I think the strongest ones should take on the heavenly army, while the others hold off the demons. No one refuted Sakura's words. Ah, Hajime-kun, We have to check if Shizuku-chan and the others are okay. Besides, they can help us against the demons. Kaori reminded and Hajime nodded. He also added, we have to save Sensei, too. Do you have a plan? You looked worried. Hajime nodded and stated his plan. Okay, Akame and Chloe, you will face the Heavenly Army. I will rescue my teacher and soon after I will join you. Sakura, Shia, Tio and you will face the demons. Kaori and the princess, you will go to warn Amanogawa to see if Amanogawa and the others are there. By the way, Princess Liliana had woken up by now. Although I don't think it's the best plan in the world, we don't have much time, Sakura said dejectedly. The others agreed. There was no time. Okay. This is a good plan. No objections. Let's do it. No one seemed to have any objections. Hajime was about to tell everyone to go, but someone spoke first. Actually, Gushin-sama, I have an objection. It was Tio. What is it? I think it's a waste of time for Gushin-sama to go rescue his sensei. I can do that instead, and then help myself against the demons. Hajime got a thoughtful expression and the others looked at him waiting for an answer. Really, that would be good, as Hajime could help with the biggest threat, the Heavenly Army, which had unknown strength and numbers, but Hajime was worried in case there was someone powerful standing guard in Aiko's cell. For example, the one gray-haired woman that Liliana saw kidnapping Aiko. I think it's a good idea. Me too. Chloe and Yu encouraged and the other girls also accepted the plan. Even Akame, who was normally silent, said, that would increase our chances. In the end, Hajime accepted. Let's go. Everyone went to war. Filled circle, filled circle, filled circle. Aiko was watching the moon. From inside her cell in a tower where no one can hear her. With a bracelet that seals her magic, this was the only thing she could do. I have to find my students. That was all she could think about. She overheard the woman who had kidnapped her talking about a plan against the students and especially against Hajime. The student who was bringing her conflicting feelings the last day. Nagumo-kun. Oh, no, it's me. Gushin-sama is not here. Aiko jumped backwards, as her murmur was answered by a female voice. She looked at the door to her cage, and there stood Tio. Tio-san. Fufu, you were having perverted thoughts with Gushin-sama, weren't you? Tio said with a perverted look. Oh, what? No. How could I think of such a thing? Aiko didn't want to get into this subject. Why is Tio-san here? I came to save Sensei. At Gushin-sama's request. Tio said and melted the lock on the door. The cell opened. Really? And where is Nagumo-kun? Ah, Gushin-sama has an army to contend with, but don't worry, he's gotten stronger. Aiko was confused by his words, but Tio didn't bother to explain. She took the anti-magic bracelet from Aiko and punched a hole in the wall with the power of her breath. Shall we? Yes, let's go. Aiko held Tio's hand. Tio turned into a dragon and carried Aiko on his back, which left her surprised. So, where are you going to take me? Aiko asked after a while of flying. I will take Sensei to a safe place and then I will help in the battle. I see. What's that? Aiko noticed a strong light coming out of the tip of the God Mountain and asked Tio. The light was extraordinarily strong, so Tio also watched to see what was happening. A portal. Quote. A small white portal opened up on God's Mountain. And from there they began to emerge. Several women with gray hair. All wearing armor and flying with silver wings. Aiko remembered the woman who kidnapped her. She looked just like these women. Tio knew who they were. The Apostles of God. If you counted, you would see that their number is 10,000. Filled circle, filled circle, filled circle. Criiiiick. Su. Shizuku awoke to the sound of explosions and a loud sound of breaking glass. She abruptly got out of bed and checked to see if anyone was around her. There wasn't. Shizuku took her black katana from under the pillow and put it around her waist. She had been sleeping with the katana nearby for the past few days. That was because she felt something was wrong. One day after I told her I had something important to tell her, Aiko disappeared. Which was quite suspicious. Shizuku and her colleagues tried to ask the church about her whereabouts, but were only told that Aiko was once again helping plantations. However, they were not told where or who was as her guard. A few days after Aiko's disappearance, several of the castle servants began acting strangely, and Shizuku even warned Kuki and the others to be on the lookout, but everyone took her words lightly. Shizuku opened her door and looked around to see if anyone was there. Since there was no one, she went in search of her companions, starting with Kuki. OCD OCD. She knocked on her door, and after a few seconds Kuki opened it. What is it? Kuki was in a sleepy voice. And what was that noise? You idiot, don't open the door like that. What if I was the enemy? It was really careless of him, but Shizuku didn't press the matter. Pick up your sword, there's something going on, she said, and Kuki did so. The two then gathered all their classmates together. The students were talking about what to do and theorizing about the loud noise, when Shizuku-sama, Nia, a chambermaid, called out to Shizuku. This chambermaid was Nia, a girl with whom Shizuku talked a lot and could consider her a friend. Nia was the same age as Shizuku and was very interested in swordsmen, so Shizuku got quite close to her, even though Nia kept calling her Sama. Nia ran toward Shizuku and stopped beside her. Her expression was heavy. She then delivered some not good news. The first barrier has been destroyed. Everyone was surprised. The capital of the Haihiri Kingdom was protected by 3 super powerful barriers, and it was extremely difficult to destroy them. We don't know how they got here, but an army of demons is attacking the city and they have already destroyed 1 barrier. We have to help. Obviously the hero couldn't stand still and rushed forward, but Shizuku stopped him. Nia, how big is the army? She spoke, addressing Nia. If you count demons and magical beasts. 100,000. Quote. Everyone was visibly shaken upon hearing the number. It was too much for them to face alone. Did you hear that, Kuki? We can't defeat them alone. Let's join Meld-san and the knights. But Kuki seemed to want to go straight into combat. That was dumb, and Shizuku knew it. Kuki-kun, it's the best we can do. If we want to defeat the demons, we need the knights. Unexpectedly, the person who said that was Eri. Eri was always quiet, but now everyone could see determination in her words. That was enough to convince Kuki. Okay, let's go. They went down to the castle courtyard, as Nia warned them that the knights were there. When they all reached the courtyard, they saw about 150 knights and their vice captain Jose. Are you guys aware of the situation? Jose asked upon seeing them. Shizuku and Kuki nodded their heads. Okay, Hiro Dono, please come with me, the others wait here. They were strange to Jose's words, but they obeyed. Kuki followed Jose to a small wooden stage he had there. When Kuki separated from them, all 50 riders approached, as they saw that Jose had something to talk about. Jose-san, where is Meld-san? The boss has some business to take care of, but he will be with us soon. Jose said and turned to the crowd. Knights and heroes, the demons are launching an attack, but there is nothing to worry about. We have the hero here, Amanogawa Kuki. Nothing will be able to defeat us. A strange feeling began to grow inside Shizuku. Something was wrong with the situation. Joseph was speaking differently and the knights very naturally surrounded the students, but no one else noticed. We will kill all the evil demons. God is on our side. Joseph continued and pulled a small dagger from his blouse. Behold, the beginning of the massacre. Joseph raised the dagger on high and everyone looked at it. Ka! A loud sound was heard and the dagger let out a strong light. This light was similar to that of Hajime's light grenades. That white light was CCE Gante. Everyone was stunned. Gwa! Shizuku heard a groan of pain. She was the person who was least stunned, as she was already feeling something coming. She managed to put her hands in front of her face, but she was still stunned momentarily. Ow! Another groan of pain. No, several. Shizuku could hear several groans of pain as she slowly regained her sight. What is this? Shizuku saw her colleagues bleeding. They had all been attacked by the surrounding knights and were not able to defend themselves well because of the blinding light from before. She was stunned to see this, but didn't even have time to reason, because a knight tried to attack her. Shizuku dodged the attack and made her katana float and hit the hand of the soldier who was holding a dagger. Wow, Shizuku is really troublesome. Me. You. In the midst of all his colleagues fighting frantically, there was one calm person who was not being attacked. Eri Nakamura. She was without her usual glasses and had changed both her look and manner of speaking. Shizuku realized, it was Eri's fault. She of some reason had hidden her true nature until now and had betrayed her colleagues. Shizuku-sama. Nia. Nia ran toward Shizuku with tears in her eyes. Shizuku pulled her behind him to protect her. Ow. Shizuku felt a knife being pressed into her back. She looked back and saw who had attacked her, Nia. Why? Nia's expression was no longer humorous as it always was. It was empty now, as if it was someone else. Ahahaha, even you didn't see that one coming, did you, Shizuku? I knew you would be trouble, so I made that one especially for you. Eri, you. Shizuku couldn't finish speaking as two knights struck her and pressed her against the ground. Shizuku cast Eri a confused look. Eri, what have you done? Why? Although she couldn't speak properly because of the sword in his chest, Kuki had to ask why his childhood friend was acting like that. Eri didn't answer and just started laughing loudly. She approached Kuki, who was not only wounded, but was also being held by several knights and was wearing an anti-magic necklace. Eri put her lips over Kuki's. Everyone was silent because of the unexpected event and the only audible sound was water running. It seemed that Eri was letting go of the feelings she held for Kuki. That was why, you understand. I want Kuki-kun all to myself. She said with a smile that made everyone even more shocked. Even if I confessed to Kuki-kun it would be useless. Kuki-kun is so benevolent, kind and gentle. He would never treat me better than other people. It's lucky we came to this world. It would have been hard to kill you in Japan. But here it made things easier, you know. The demons were really helpful. Eri was wearing a smile that could only be seen on a psychopath. Demons. Don't tell me that. Shizuku looked incredulous. Ahahaha, did you notice? I was the one who weakened the barrier. I just had to use intelligence and my necromancy. That was the reality that everyone had to accept. Eri was lying the whole time and had betrayed everyone. Not only that, but she was about to kill them and turn them into undead puppets. They found this out, as Eri demonstrated. She slit Kondo's throat and made him stand up again with soul-grabbing magic. That was going to happen to everyone, a magic that forced the target to stay alive and serve the user, without will or free will. It's too bad for Kaori. I was going to leave her alone, but one person helped me in exchange for possessing her. You will help me with this, Shizuku. What? Eri was going to control Shizuku and use her against her best friend. Not only that, but he was going to give Kaori to someone else as if she were a thing. Just thinking about it made Shizuku's emotions peak. She didn't know what to do. Shizuku didn't have the power to act right now. It wasn't as if she had a special something that would save her right now. Or was it? Quote exclamation mark quote. Shizuku remembered. She saw her sword lying on the ground almost 5 meters away. That sword that Rimuru had given her, with such irrationally great power. The sword that could even float into her hand. And that's exactly what she did. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot dot dot. Eri saw the sword fly into Shizuku's hand. She was about to give the order to kill Shizuku to the knights, but was stopped when she saw Shizuku's eyes. Glowing. Her eyes were glowing with what appeared to be electricity in her pupils. Kill her. Limit break. KABOM. A great power began to pour out of Shizuku. Several black rays ran through her body and affected the knights who tried to attack her. What the fuck is that? How could she do this? Eri's thoughts were full speed ahead. Eri calmed down. Everything was fine. No matter how strong Shizuku was, Eri would only need to buy time. That was because the place where Shizuku was stabbed would not stop bleeding and it would soon kill her. Or at least that's what Eri thought. Healing. Shizuku's sword glowed white. This white soon after covered her entire body and healed her wounds. That was another ability provided by the sword. Thank you, Rimuru-kun. Shizuku couldn't help but say thank you internally. Eri was startled to see the healing magic, but she was not afraid. She had to kill everyone here. She had to have Kuki. Go, she commanded, and several of the knights advanced against Shizuku. Shizuku used mutation and made her katana double in size. Soon after, she split the sword in two with the same ability, so now she had two black katanas. One of the black katanas was charged with black lightning and was floating around Shizuku. The other was glowing blue in Shizuku's hand. The floating katana attacked two knights who tried to attack Shizuku from hiding. The knights who discovered the power of the black rays had great damage to their bodies and could no longer even move. Shizuku was a little hesitant to kill them, but they were already dead anyway. Eri only controlled their bodies. Divine Cut. 5 knights tried to attack Shizuku head-on, but they all had their heads cut off. It was a clean cut that left only a line of blue light behind. This divine cut was difficult to control, but Shizuku had to use everything at her disposal. She had to save her friends. Tisk. Eri clicked her tongue in disgust. She then commanded Kondo, who had already become her puppet, but not only that. She also commanded her trump card, Meld. Die. Die Shizuku. Kondo gave a shout and pulled out his spear. He launched it at Shizuku, but it was knocked back by the floating katana. Meld came out of nowhere and attacked. Everyone was already surprised by Shizuku's strength, but they were even more surprised to see Meld attack Shizuku with his great sword. Even Meld-san. Kuki muttered in disbelief. Tchin. Shizuku defended Meld's powerful attack. She used both swords to defend, but even that wouldn't have been enough if Shizuku hadn't used protection, which gave her more defensive strength. Mutation. Shizuku leapt backwards and turned her swords into several floating ninja stars. The ninja stars surrounded Meld and Kondo on all sides. Black rays. Several small black rays came out of the ninja stars and struck Meld and Kondo. The two flew away unable to move. Shizuku had no mercy. She had to defeat Eri before the limit break time. Shizuku used mutation once again and was left with only one katana in her hand. She looked in Eri's direction. Shit, attack. Eri was already getting scared. She couldn't let Shizuku stop her from having Kuki. 5 more knights attacked Shizuku from all sides, but she managed to fight them off by turning her sword into 5 daggers and piercing their chests. When she took her daggers back. Looks like you're having trouble, Eri. An unknown male voice was heard coming from above. Everyone looked in its direction and there they saw a man with red hair and pointed ears, wearing armor, riding a large white dragon that exuded an overwhelming pressure. It was a man of the demon race. Fr. Freed. That's it. Help me kill them all. Let only Kuki-kun live. HFF. I guess that's okay. Uranus. Freed seemed to realize Shizuku's danger and spoke to the dragon. Oh, that's bad. Shizuku thought. Shizuku could even beat Eri, the knights and that man of the demon race, but the dragon was no thing to be trifled with. Buffffffff. Freed commanded his dragon and Uranus blew white fire at Shizuku. It was very strong. Although Shizuku had protection, she wouldn't survive it. No. Kuki shouted trying to get loose, but to no avail. Not such a bad death. Shizuku spoke to herself. At least she wasn't going to be used to pocket her best friend. That was good enough. The white fire was coming, and Shizuku would not be able to dodge it. She was prepared to accept death. Sacred interruption. Interruption of heaven. Interruption of light. Shizuku heard a female scream and saw several barriers form around her. A loud bang resounded as fire crashed into the powerful barriers. Some of the barriers gave way, but the fire did not reach Shizuku. Shizuku looked in the direction of the courtyard entrance. There was her friend Princess Liliana and her best friend Kaori. All the students Tambin looked over there and widened their eyes. Kaori. Kaori was on the other side of the courtyard, but they still managed to see each other. Kaori looked happy to see her well and also scared of the huge dragon. Shizuku-chan, what's going on? Kaori asked, and Liliana, who seemed to have understood the situation better, looked at Eri with sitting eyes. Eri. Shizuku was happy to survive and also to see her friend, but now that Kaori was here, she was afraid that Kaori would get hurt. However, this could also be an opportunity. Kaori, heal everyone. We need your help. Shizuku shouted, and that made everyone recover from their surprise. Kaori saw the injured and was startled, but it didn't take long for her to start chanting a healing spell for everyone. Damn it, Eri cursed internally. If Kaori healed everyone there, it would be a problem. The students were strong and could defeat Eri, Freed and the knights. There was still the dragon Uranus, but he was recharging his breath. If the heroes were healed, Freed would probably run away and leave Eri to die. Was I too hasty? Did I not plan enough? Why do these people keep getting in my way? Kaori had already started to chant a healing spell. Eri sent 20 of the knights to attack her, but they were all prevented by Liliana's barriers, which were super strong. Eri then came up with a plan. Shirasaki, help me. Kaori heard Hayama call out to her right. He was covered in wounds and might even die if not healed. Hayama was being attacked by 3 knights and was running toward Kaori. Hayama-kun, my god, look at these injuries. Come quick. Liliana saw Hayama's condition and opened a part of the barrier so that he could enter. Kaori didn't object either. Even though she hated Hayama, she couldn't let him die. No, stop him. Shizuku realized. The person who wanted to have Kaori to himself and helped Eri was Hayama. There was no way he could escape the knights when even Kuki was caught. But his warning came too late. Hayama was already inside the barrier. When Hayama was a few meters away from Kaori, he pulled out a dagger and prepared to attack. This was the end. There was no way for Kaori to defend herself at this point. Just as Hayama was about to shove the dagger into Kaori's chest. Kufufufufufufu, I can't let you get any closer. Gwa. Hayama was thrown against the wall and let out a groan of pain. Eri couldn't finish her sentence. She just stood motionless looking at the man who had just protected Kaori. No, not just her. Everyone stood motionless. This man wasn't giving off any pressure, but the feeling he was giving off was enough to freeze everyone in place. That evil smile and that elegant pose. Butler clothes, black hair with a red lock and a golden lock. Black eyes with golden pupils. He was one of the 12 patrons of Rimuru Tempest. The demon Lord Diablo. Kufufufufufufufufu.